What would happen if Russia invaded Japan? Invade Japan? The phrasing of this question isn't clear. Japan is not hard to invade. It really is just a bunch of islands that thrive off its fishing industry and, in recent years, its technological advancements. Neither of these will help in the scenario of a Russian invasion, unless they've managed to clone an army of tame dinosaurs. If you mean a Russian invasion of Japan, backed by no allies and with no US intervention, then a Russian conquest of Japan is possible. The USSR tried this in 1945 with successes, until the US nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki and prompted a quick surrender. Hence, the US armed forces now dominate Japan, whereas in an alternate history we could be seeing a Russian-controlled Japan. Japan's dwindling army would be no match for Russia's professional troops and arsenal of nuclear bombs. If you mean a geopolitical war between Russia and Japan and its allies, centered at Japan, then the consequences would be different. A Russian invasion of Japan would almost certainly be repelled by American forces in the northern home islands, and further interventions could see the war mire into a bloody stalemate. For the sake of mathematical precision, let's check up on the odds. Potential Russian expeditionary force in Japan. Thousands of men, probably 50,000 to 100,000. Nukes and missiles at the ready. Strong air force at reasonable flight distance to bomb, strafe Japanese defenses. Japanese self-defense forces. 250,000 men. A lot of reserves. Potentially local resistance from civilians. US armed forces in Japan. 50,000 men. Missiles and anti-aircraft weapons. No nukes as far as we know. US nukes pulled out of Japan in '72. I see a lot of the other answers expecting a decisive Japanese victory. It's important to note that Japan's troops aren't necessarily as powerful or as reputable as they once were. Under US occupation, they've received plenty of training in self-defense of the Japanese home islands, and probably a lot of new technology, but not much experience. They haven't fought for 70 years now, which is an awfully long time. US troops keep themselves occupied in the Middle East, and the Russians do so too. They've fought for 2 decades against Chechnyan separatist extremists and terrorists, and in Ukraine too. What does this suggest? The Russians are keeping exercised in practical combat. Overall, I'm calling this a stalemate. A Russian invasion of Japan, with no external factors, will likely result in an outright Russian victory. With US intervention, things get a lot harder. Even if Japan does get conquered by Russia, its culture will not. Japan has been around for thousands of years, and its people are tough and resilient. Hey, even under US occupation, and various nuclear power plant disasters of various magnitudes, and tsunamis, and earthquakes, and 2 nukes, the sushi industry has only grown.